the focus of NewSong has never changed. And the focus has always been to figure out a way to talk about the gospel and to use music as a tool. So I think that's one of the reasons that God's blessed it the way that he has.
Here with Russ, church leaders. We're at WinterJam 2025 in the Columbus stop. So go Buckeyes, right? Russ, first of all, I want to talk, you've been in NewSong, man, for a while. We'll get to that in a sec. But NewSong has been a band since 1981. I looked that up, 1981. You joined the band in 1994.
Correct.
What has been the secret? Kind of share with us, what has been the secret to the successful longevity of the band? Because that's a long time.
It is. I think it's twofold. I think number one, these guys in the very beginning, it was born out of a local church. They've stayed connected to the local church as a ministry from the very beginning, but also just having a passion to use music as a tool to share the gospel. The focus of NewSong has never changed. And the focus has always been to figure out a way to talk about the gospel and to use music as a tool. So I think that's one of the reasons that God's blessed it the way that he has. But it started with 4 guys out of a local church visiting other places and singing with tracks, cassettes.
Yes.
And, that kind of grew into the 4-man vocal band. Then after 12 years, 2 of the original guys left. And that's when we really turned it into a band. That's when it really NewSong became a band. They'd had some live players, but they really had not been a band per se. The band NewSong.
Yes.
Until I joined, Charles Billingsley joined, Leonard Alstrom, who was a guitar player and had traveled with people like Farrell back in the day, and written for Margaret Becker, and had written a bunch of songs with Eddie. And so Leo had been a touring musician, but he was one of our favorite co-writers. And so when I joined the group, we had guys, Scotty Wilbanks, who went on to play with Third Day and is now on the road with Luke Bryan.
Yep.
Those guys, we all kind of merged around the same time. And Billy Goodwin is a really good musician, so they didn't need him to play anything. So at that point, what was a vocal band became a band.
Yeah.
And but the focus stayed the same. We changed, stylistically a little bit because it was different, and we've kind of moved forward through the years. But I think one of the other things that has helped us is other than keeping the focus on the ministry, has really been the fact that we're all not just musicians and singers, and we didn't just find our niche, but we're also all students of music, and we all are fans of music. So we have kind of been able to change with the times, if you will, because we like to listen to what's current, and we like to write toward that. And so as Eddie and I have been for many years the primary songwriters in the group, but we also surround ourselves with younger songwriters and guys that are writing, that are saying things in fresh new ways.
Yeah.
And, even if you've been writing a long time and they are just getting started, when you write with someone who has a new approach to an idea, you always learn something. So I think always learning, always seeking to keep Jesus first, Matthew 6:33, seeking first his kingdom and his righteousness. I think the Lord has just blessed that. And as you know, many years ago, we really had a passion to impact the lives of students. And so we started WinterJam for that reason, to help families and students access Christian music. But we also, about the same time, started some youth conferences called Extreme Conferences. Yep. And, last year we probably had approximately 16,000 teenagers in Gatlinburg and in Branson, Missouri, come and hear the preaching of the word and hear the gospel clearly and hear some of their favorite artists. And, it gives them an opportunity to see other students gathered together, worshiping the Lord in authentically with freedom. It's just our passion has always been to do something bigger than ourselves. And so that's kind of where WinterJam came from, where Extreme came from. And so we're always excited about the next thing. We're working on a new project. We're almost finished with it. It's in mix right now, and our friends at Centricity they're going to be our record label on this project. And so we're excited about the next thing. We're excited about what God's done. but we never rest there.
Yeah.
We're kind of excited about the next thing.
Yeah.
And pushing forward with vision and looking for opportunities to have an impact and keeping Christ as the focus. I think that's really helped us.
Oh, right, right. He
Stay
sustains
around.
you. He sustains you.
Well, he does. And, a lot of artists do a great job, and there's no criticism to them, but they come and they go. And since we started, lots of folks started with us, but not many of the people who started with us are still crazy enough to get on the bus and ride all over the country, but we are. So.
Well, Russ, you mentioned the coming, what NewSong has coming out.
Right.
You have a new single that if I saw right, it's dropping at the end of this month.
It is.
It's called Church People.
That's right.
Give me a little bit of the meaning behind it.
Okay, sure. Well, we a long time. So one of the things that I say in concert when we kind of are trying to get the crowd involved, I just say, hey, listen, I'm trying to wake them up.
Mm-hmm.
So, for a few years, I would say, listen, where are my Jesus-loving church people at? Where are you, church people? Come on. Where are my Jesus-loving church people at? My no doubt about it, fired up, Jesus-loving church people. So you kind of prompt them, right?
Yeah.
If you don't love Jesus, just stay in your seat. Otherwise, where are you? So I would say that, and Eddie Carswell said to me one day in a conversation, we were not on tour. It was a season where we were at home and taking, a minute. And Eddie and I were on the phone talking, and he goes, that thing you say all the time, we should write that song. And so I just kind of took the idea of, he and I had a conversation, and I wrote a few lyrics. And then the next time we got together with the intention of writing an up song for WinterJam, for NewSong, that was called Church People, And we decided, hey, we're going to say, hey, where you at? Where are my church people at? That's going to kind of be the idea behind the song. If you love my Jesus, then you won't hold back.
Yeah.
Tell me right now, where are my church people at?
Love it.
So it's a call and response,
Yeah.
But really, we were inspired by people like Crowder and even Ann Wilson and We the Kingdom. And, it's a fun song that is indicative of who we are. It's kind of a gritty, Southern rock kind of soulful thing, and it's really we've been doing it on WinterJam. We introduced the song on our Christmas tour prior to WinterJam and at our youth events, and we got a really good response. So we've been working on it.
That's cool.
And we've been working on it live and working on it in the studio. And so we're excited about it. It's a fun song, and it's an up song, but it's also, again, you can take it and lay it over scripture and it fits.
Yes.
So that's important to us.
Now that's coming out. You got an album coming out then?
Right.
Okay.
And it may be called Church People. I don't know. You know how it is. We're still working on that.
So hopefully in 2025 we'll see that?
Oh yes.
Okay.
No, it's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
Great.
We as a matter of fact, we've been working hard in the last few weeks because trying to finish up any loose ends because the record label has given us a turn-in date.
The deadline.
Yeah, the deadline. The dreaded deadline.
So, all right. So WinterJam, let me see if I got this date right. This is the 30th year, am I right?
Pretty close. Nobody that I ask can give me a definitive answer because, as you know, it started with NewSong in Greenville, South Carolina. Then it became NewSong and Friends. And I think our first friend was Bob Carlisle. I think he was the first guy we invited to come sing with us on this event. And then it became January Jam.
Yes.
And then when it outgrew January, it became WinterJam. And so I think we're close to the 30th. If this isn't the 30th year, it's
You're
really,
right
we're really close to the 30th year of it being WinterJam.
So what goes into, because it seems like, let's not count the pandemic years, because obviously that was something that's out of control. But
right.
And you and I just kind of talked about this. You've already seen an uptick. We're like 3 weeks into the WinterJam.
Right.
What do you feel is the success? Because people keep coming out to this. You are one of the, if not the most successful and largest Christian concerts that happen every year. When you can take this into an arena and go from this place to the next place to the next place, what makes it successful?
Who in the world knows? The faithfulness of God. Every day we just pray. Matter of fact, I heard Eddie Carswell praying it this morning. I walked onto the bus and he was sitting on the bus reading his Bible saying, send them in, Lord, send them in. So, when you do, every night is a step of faith.
Yeah.
So when you do an event like this, you do a general donation at the door, a suggested donation. Because if someone is outside and they don't have $15 to donate,
Mhm.
we still let them in.
Yeah.
We're probably the only tour in the world that's where we
exactly.
proudly do that. We
Yeah.
don't want anybody to be left outside who wants to come inside.
Yeah.
So if you walk up to the door at WinterJam and say, man, I'm really struggling, my family's having a hard time, we can't give $15 for 5 of us, but we would love to be a part of this tonight, we're going to let you in the door.
Yeah.
Because that's, unless the fire marshal says there are too many. Yeah.
Which has happened before.
It has. But that's the only reason you would miss a night, you know.
Yeah.
And folks have been very supportive of that. They understand the heart of it.
Mhm.
They understand that what we're doing is Christ-centered, and our efforts reflect the fact that we want anyone who wants to come and be enjoy a night of worship, be encouraged, hear the gospel, bring their friends to hear the gospel. Because a lot of folks won't come to church with you because they're scared of the church. They see the building and it represents something in their mind that you and I know is not really the reality of what it means to be a follower of Christ. But they won't go to church, but they might go to an event in an arena to see a band like Skillet, or to hear someone like Ann Wilson, or to hear KB, you know, or Lecrae. They might come to a building where they don't feel threatened, where maybe they've been to a basketball game or another concert event. And that gives us the opportunity just to love on them and to speak truth into their lives and to show them what it really means to worship the Lord together. And so I really think every night for us is a step of faith, but I also think this is a testimony to God's faithfulness and Him giving us clarity about how to do this, how in the world, because as you know, in our world, what we're doing was unprecedented.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing this before us.
Nope.
And so we just thought,
it started out at $3, if I'm right.
Actually, I thought that. I probably am the one that told you that. But Billy Goodwin said, and Billy's the historian of NewSong and WinterJam, and Billy said, you know, I was doing a little research, and he said, I think I told you wrong. He said, I told you that first night in Greenville, we did a $3 donation at the door. He said, actually, that was the second year. He said, the first year, we just took a love offering.
Oh, wow.
He said, we didn't charge anything at the door.
Okay.
He said, but we realized in order to move things and, you know, take the production and move it from city to city and to really grow this thing and do it, we needed to do something more. And people were excited. And so many people said, I can't believe you did this.
Yeah.
And so the next year was really an experiment. We said, okay, Lord, what if we do $3 donation and a love offering? I wonder if enough people would show up and give and buy into the vision of accessible Christian music centered around the gospel, you know, and we always stop the music, share the message of the gospel. Yeah. And that's the heartbeat of NewSong. We're music evangelists. That's what we are. Yeah. So that's why that's the heartbeat of WinterJam. And I just think God continues to bless that. And people who came years ago now bring their kids, or they bring their guys that were in the youth group. Yeah. Now our youth pastors are pastors, and they send their youth group or bring their youth group to WinterJam. So we've got this
generational
legacy and history of generational relationship with churches in the community, because they really know what we want is to come alongside them and lift their arms up in ministry, and reinforce what they're already doing in the lives of these students and also the community, what the church is doing in the community. We just want to be we want to be a voice that works in step with the local church and encourages the body.
Well, you are. So thank you for that.
Continue. That's what we're trying to do.
No, it's awesome. All right. Last question. Tell us why people should come to WinterJam 2025.
Well, every year is different, as you know. Some of the artists on 2025 are artists that we've had in the past, and some of them are our favorites. But you may or may not know, you probably do. Every year we do kind of an exit poll or interview, and we ask folks through our social media platforms, hey, who did you enjoy? Who do we need to have? Who would you like to see next year on WinterJam? You know, and so a lot of our pursuit of artists is based on that. You know. And for some of the artists, we've had them before, but we have such a strong relationship with them, and we know who they are, we know what they're about, and we love them, and we love what they're doing. And so, but we also take what we love and want, and we line it up with what the folks that actually make the effort and take the trouble to come out to WinterJam. we listen to those folks, and so we work on that list. The long list becomes a very short list, and we have to look at routing and schedules and what artists can do. And this year, KB is out with us on WinterJam.
Yep.
He's a great artist and minister, but there are a couple of dates that he couldn't do. So Trip Lee came and has been doing
nice.
2 or 3 of those dates that KB couldn't do
Yeah.
in the beginning because of other obligations when we asked him to do it. And so Trip came out and did those dates. Well, he's another guy that we love. We love his ministry. We love his heart. The dude is a preacher of the gospel and a tremendous artist.
Yes,
so,
he is.
we love having guys like that out. And so this year it's going to be some of the artists that you know, but some artists that you don't know. We love introducing new artists early in the night. And every year, because of the lineup, we've never had this lineup in this order on WinterJam. We've had some of these artists, but we've never had this lineup. So we get excited about the totality of the night.
Yeah.
It's really the whole night. When you and I started music, we used to buy albums or CDs of artists, and we would listen to the whole thing, and we would read the lyrics.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
We would study those things. We want to see, like, this is, they're taking me on a journey.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of what WinterJam does throughout the whole night.
I love it.
It takes you on a journey, and it takes you places that you wouldn't go. You may be a diehard Skillet fan. You may be a panhead, which is what Skillet fans call themselves. Okay. You may be a diehard Skillet fan, and you come out to WinterJam and you hear KB for the first time.
Yeah.
And you are a fan.
Yeah.
You leave a fan. Or you hear Micah Typer and you go, man, that dude encourages me, and I need to be encouraged.
Yeah.
And, they all have this unique God-given ability to run in their lane and to minister the way that they minister. And so the way that whole night becomes a storyline, the contour of the night and how it becomes a storyline that brings glory to God and encourages folks. Hearing those stories never ends, and it's funny because every year, at the end of the night, I'm the guy that says, welcome to WinterJam, and I'm also the guy that says, thank you and good night. And every year someone will stop me and say, this is the best lineup ever. Like every year, I'm telling you, I loved last year, but this is the best lineup ever. So I never get tired of hearing that, because that means God's there and he's doing something fresh.
Yeah.
And they're leaving encouraged.
Yeah, he's encouraging. Yes, exactly.
And we love it.
Well, brother, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to WinterJam.com
Yes.
and check out the dates. It's mainly on the East Coast is kind of how this one works.
Yeah.
But check it out. Like you said, $15 at the door. You can't find that anywhere.
You can't park for that.
You cannot park for that. That is 100% true. So yes, come check out the tour. You will be encouraged. You'll be blessed. Bring friends.
Yeah.
Yes, you will see a show that you will remember for a lifetime. And want to bring other people.
It's explosive church.
Yes,
That's what it is. It's just explosive, fired up church. And NewSongOnline.com or JamTour.com will give you more information about what the tour's up to, what we're up to, and hopefully you'll be able to come out and bring some friends.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Russ. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Jesse. My pleasure.